Hi, this is Open Up Resources, Unit 1, Lesson 8 of Algebra 1. What does it mean? We're going to start with the jump start. So first of all, we have 3 sequences, and we're going to try to find the next 3 terms in each sequence. So as I'm going along here, I'm noticing 7 to 11 is a plus 4. There's not a multiply that really goes there really nicely, so let's try adding first. 11 to 15 plus 4. So if we keep adding 4, we end up with 19 plus 4 is 23 plus 4 is 27. All right, number 2. I'm going to say it's adding again because I'm going from a minus. I'm going farther into the negatives. So I'm actually going to probably subtract, it looks like. So 32 to 39 is a 7, and so that's a minus 7. 39 to 46, that is also a 7, so it's a minus 7. So if I go 7 deeper past 46, I'm at a negative 53. Another 7 is negative 60. Another 7, negative 67. All right, now for 3, negative 6 to 6. That's either a plus 12 or it's a times negative 1. Well, if I'm going from 6 to 18, that's the plus 12. So it's not a multiply. We are still adding on here. 18 plus 12 is, let me use a different color for that one so we can see it, 30. 30 plus 12 is 42. And 42 plus 12 is 54. All right, so we notice that these are all arithmetic sequences. All right, so learning focus. We're going to find missing terms in an arithmetic sequence. So we're looking for the patterns and see if we can figure out how to find those missing terms. All right, so the table below represents an arithmetic sequence. Find the missing terms in the sequence showing your method. Well, between 5 and 11, you know what? I'm just going to do a little tried and true number line. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And so if I take this number line and I go in 1 on each, in 1 on each, in 1 on each, that makes 8 my middle number. And if I look, arithmetic, we have a plus 3 and a plus 3. So that works. That is an arithmetic sequence. Let's go ahead and try it here. All right, so now I have, I'm going farther. So I have to go from, see, those were 6 apart, and I went 3. That makes sense. It's half of the distance between the two of them. Here I've got 18 to a negative 10. Well, the whole jump, if I go from negative 10 to 18, that's actually 28 pieces. And so let's just try, I have 3 boxes, so let's try it divides 3. Well, 28 doesn't divide 3 evenly. That's kind of yucky. What if I notice that I have 1, 2, 3, 4 jumps? Well, if I divide this by 4, that equals 7. So let's try that. 18 plus 7, 25. Oh, wait, minus. We're subtracting. Minus 7. So 18 minus 7 is 11. 11 minus 7 is 4. 4 minus 7 would be a negative 3. 3 minus 7 is a negative 10. So notice how I can split that up into chunks and figure out, does that work up here on this first one? So if I take 11 to 5, that's 6 apart, and I have 2 jumps, that equals 3. Let's see if we can try it on our next one. All right, so here I'm going from basically 12 to a negative 6. So I have to go 12 to 0, 0 to 6, that's a total of 18. So 18, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 jumps. That goes in evenly to make 3. So I'm going down, so it must be a minus 3. So 12 minus 3 is 9, minus 3 is 6, minus 3 is 3, minus 3 is 0, minus 3 is negative 3. Aha, look at that. It works. We have found a pattern that works. So describe your method of doing this. All right, here we go. Let's do this one in blue. I find the distance between the two end numbers, and then I divide by how many, I'm going to say, jumps are between those numbers that I need to fill in. Notice I didn't say how many empty boxes were between them, how many jumps, how many times I need to repeat that operation to get it to fill in. So, and the distance between two numbers, isn't that usually subtraction? Jump on here. Subtract. 12 minus a negative 6 is really 12 plus 6. Let's look up here. 18 minus a negative 10, or a negative 10 minus a negative 10 minus 18 would be a negative 28. Split into 4 is a minus. Same thing here. If I subtract negative 6 minus 12, it's a negative 18. Divided by 3 would be a minus 3. So there's a couple ways on there. Okay, so here's a few more. Let's try using that method we had just figured out. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to my here. So from 50 to 86, that is 36. And I have 1, 2, 3 jumps. Divided by 3 would be a 12. So I'm going to try a plus 12 in here. So that's 62. Plus 12 is 74. Plus 12 is an 86. Awesome. That's working out really well. All right, next box. We're going from 40 down to 10. That is 30 apart, right? And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Divided by 5 equals 6. But it's going down, so it's probably a minus 6. So if I do a minus 6 here, that's 34. Minus 6 is a 28. Minus 6 is a 22. Minus 6 is a 16. Minus 6 is 10. Awesome. And just double check that that still works on the end. All right. So then for here, negative 23 all the way to a 5. So I have 23 to get to 0 and another 5 to get up there. So that's a total of 28. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Divided by 7, we're at 4. And we are getting bigger to get to 5. So negative 23 plus 4 is negative 19. Negative 19 plus 4 is negative 15. Plus 4 is negative 11. Plus 4 is negative 7. Plus 4 is negative 3. Plus 4 is 1. Plus 4 is 5. Awesome. Okay, so describe that method that works. I'm going to go ahead and actually, I'm just going to write pretty much the same thing I did before. Find the distance between the first and last numbers. Subtract first from last. Then divide by the number of, still do our jumps, between the two numbers. Check for plus or minus. We'll do that because we don't always, if you don't subtract the first from the last, if you're just kind of working on the distance, then you got to double check the plus or minus. All right, ready for more. This one is a little bit trickier. Let's try it. We'll do 40 to 10. Wait, is that the one we just did up here? 40 to 10. Oh, yeah, right up here. We just did that one. So we just need the 20th term. So we know it's a minus 6. We know it's a minus 6 in there. Oh, minus 6. Let's think of our equations. We have a first term. We have a common difference. So that means f of n equals my first term, 40, and I'm going to subtract 6, but it's the first term, so n minus 1 times. So if I throw in a 20, f of 20 equals 40 minus 6 times 20 minus 20. 20 minus 1 is 19, and 6 times 19, I gotta type this one out. 6 minus 19 is negative 30. Oh, times. 6 times 19, typed in the wrong number. 114. So 40 minus 114 equals a negative 74. So that's our final answer on here. All right, as far as our takeaways go, we're looking for a common difference. So I'm going to go ahead and just put in a text box on this one. Find common difference, and how that looks. Then check by filling in the boxes using the common difference. So one thing they're kind of showing on here is last term minus first term divide. So here's, see how I can try to write this on here. Don't have a ton of space. So what they're showing is kind of a way to write what we've been putting up here in kind of an equation form. D equals, our common difference equals, that's our last term. So like in this case, it's a 6. We put a 6 in there, minus your first term divided by your terms minus 1. So also known as the, we're going to put a little parentheses here, jumps. It's hard to write with my finger. Jumps. The number of jumps. So here we're assuming we're starting with 1 on all of these. So 6 minus 1 would be 5 jumps, and that's what we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 jumps. So that's kind of the way to throw that one in here. All right. Our retrieval, let's just make sure we kind of know what we're doing to remember my patterns here. All right, so 112 to 56 to 28. Well, I know that's half of that. So is 56 half of 112? Yep, those are all half, so that would be geometric. So my thing would be f of 1 is 112. And then my next one is my previous, and when we say it was a half times half. So that means my explicit would be f of n equals my start, 112, times half, and it's the n minus 1 because I've started with my first term. So we've got to have those numbers up there. All right, next one. 5 to 10 to 17 to 26. Well, let me use a different color. Let's see. That would be a times 2, but that is not. This would be a plus 5. That is not. That's plus 7. This would be a neither. So we don't have to worry about either of those. All right. Third one is third and final. All right, I'm going from negative 30 to negative 13, which is a jump of 17, right? So let's do purple on this one. That's a plus 17. I don't know the multiplication that goes, but this is a plus 17 too. So this would be arithmetic. So our recursive is f of 1 equals negative 30. And to get my next one, I'm going to add 17. And so then my explicit, f of n equals my first term, negative 30, plus 17, and it's the n minus 1 because that's my first, second, third. I'm not adding 17 to the first one, I'm adding it to the second one. So I need to start it with the second one. All right, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.